It's time for a monthly recap. In the month of July, my birth month, we made $239.48 in our own money, finally. No prop firm bullshit. This is all on my Webull account, which I will dive into momentarily. And yeah, I'm honestly pretty happy with it. Like, I didn't finish it good with the two trades that, or the trade almost, I would say, that I took on the last day, literally the last day of the month. But overall, let's get into the stats per usual. So 239, expectancy was about $60, profit factor 3, trade win rate half, and win loss 3.61, which is really good because you want to be making a lot more on the winners than you are losing on the losers, and that's essentially what we're doing here. So I lose 111 on the 31st. Let's talk about that trade really quick before I get into the detailed stats. So here it is in a nutshell. I'm watching this chart level, and as I look at this big picture, I go, this is a 4-hour time frame trade, not a 5-minute time frame trade. So that was the mistake that I made on my end. But essentially, you've now put in multiple lower highs and some lower lows. This one too. And we broke down below this level right here that we had a couple of tests on. You can even say it was a bear flag like this, and then you broke it. I like to play horizontals. But I tried to play this and sneak it in a shorter time span. And so here's my setup from today. The idea was a break below here. The problem was that we came literally firing down below this line. And I entered on the breakdown here, which is not usually a good trade. Stopped me out pretty quickly here. And then I ended up getting back in as we approach as we break into that low a day area. We go like halfway to our TP. I didn't move my stop, could have, but I didn't move it. If we got a little bit more, I would have. And then came back and stopped me out, to be honest, barely, before end of day. And then it's like, bam. But the idea behind this, though, realistically, as I'm now looking at this trade, I was just taking a step. I was looking at the short time frame for whatever reason, but I'm looking at the bigger picture, and I took a step back. I'm like, I don't really day trade too much. And for whatever reason, I just had this, like, I don't know why, to be honest with you, I did. I'm trying to think about it. I honestly don't know why. But I did trade options on that. So we can talk about this. I guess I was like kind of questioning things, and I was like kind of testing some stuff in my head. I was like, oh, because I was just like running the numbers, and I was like, what type of move would I need to see for me to trade IWM shares, and have enough funds to trade it with my own capital, and some margin. And I didn't really have enough to make for that move to be worth it, because it was like, a 0.5%, 0.6% move. So I was like, all right, let's play the options. And to be honest, the options ended up whatever options I played. Today's Thursday. I played Friday expirations. To be honest, dude, I picked good expirations, and I dialed it up. Like, I literally got stopped out at those exact spots that I had drawn out on that trade little like tool. So it actually worked good. I was able to dial it in. I think it's because they were pretty liquid contracts, and I had an extra day, and I knew that I knew this was not going to be a trade I was going to hold overnight. So I knew, like, there's only so much decay that can occur in the next 2-3 hours before end of day, and I'm not holding overnight. So I'm not going to have to sit through like an option swing trade and potentially deal with a ton of decay, which is why I do not trade options when I swing trade. And those moves are generally big enough anyway that I can just use my own funds now anyway. So I don't really care. But I think that's why I was kind of just like testing things in my head. I was like going through, I don't want to say it was an excuse. It's not good. I mean, I haven't had something like that happen where like I kind of take a trade that I probably shouldn't have, when I realistically, like, looking back at this chart, I don't really look at the 5-minute that much at all anymore. I'm mostly looking at the daily and the 4-hour. 4-hour to get a look at what's going on overnight, and the daily just to get a sense of like big picture. But yeah, this is a better setup on the 4-hour. So this is what I would be looking at on the 4-hour type of situation. Looking at an entry right where it's at right now, with a push down to probably around in this. Well, not probably. I'll show you why I have the idea down to where it is, and then stop above today's high. Because check this out. If you look at this, 4 hours the origination of the idea. But if I jump over to IWM. That was the Russell futures. But here's IWM. You zoom this bad boy out, and what do you see? Huge level right here Very, very like kind of consistent slope in this little channel, which, you know, we tend to see not forever. That doesn't last forever. So to me, it's like the probability of this channel extending or this channel continuing to hold. That's the more it holds, the lower the probability is. It's just how the market works. Simple as that. And you also have some lower highs on the 4-hour time frames, but then also like I'm like looking at this area here, like we got some room. So I'm looking. There's a move down to 210 that I think is fair if we get a pullback. So that's the idea. So looking for that zone as a swing trade opportunity on the on the Russell on IWM. I was gonna call it something else, but I don't know what I was gonna say. So that's the, I guess that's like if you're looking for, you know, market analysis, which I say that, I don't mean it in a stupid way. I don't know. I just don't really care too much about that type of stuff anymore, because the reality is that I have a strategy. Everyone has their own ideas, their own way that their mind thinks, and their own way that the strategy kind of works in their head. So I can tell you how my head works, but I'm not going to tell you what the fuck's going to happen. Because I don't know, and B, it's not really helpful to me or you because we both don't know. So why are we going to bother with that shit, realistically? So market analysis stuff is like, it's cool, but it's also like it's all relative to what you see and how you view the markets. I think it's going to rain here pretty hard. It's about to freaking storm. Okay, so let's get into the stats. So the cool thing about this, oh yeah, I should pull up the Webull account. Sorry, YouTube. I'm not misleading anyone. Why my other channel got freaking demonetized. I am not misleading anyone. I am going to show you the exact numbers on my account. So I can pull, if I ever have an issue, I can come back to this and I can literally tell YouTube I've already been talking about this and I'm aware. Okay, so yeah, let's get into the account. Here it is. I will do this every time. If I don't, for those who are watched, please let me know. Here's the big picture short we have on the Russell. That way I was just kind of talking about the setup that I like on the 4-hour. So we're playing that. I think I'm risking like $80 to make a 200. So it's pretty sick risk reward. I think if it works out, we'll see what happens. But if you look at this past month, well, I guess I should go custom and pull up this month. I haven't been trading this account, to be honest, for like, well, I've only been trading it for like 2 months. Sorry, here to here. Cool. Yeah, so we're up 236.23, 9.42%. Is that correct? I guess. I don't know. On my money, I don't know. I don't know how much. I don't do the math. I don't know. Whatever. It sounds like that's a lot, but whatever. Yeah, so that's what we're sitting on. And we had the IWM lost 114 those two trades. We lost 50 now or $60 on AGQ. It's a silver trade, and we made money on Caterpillar. And we made money on TQs, and we made money on IBIT, Bitcoin Play. The trades I think should be, to be honest with you, when we get back, not back, as we grow the account, because my view now is I'll be putting in at least a couple $100 a month. I don't know how much I'll be putting in. I have no idea. I have to pay. I have a tax bill I got to pay coming up, estimated taxes and back taxes that I didn't pay from last year because I didn't get fucked. I was a dumbass. I made more, a good problem to have. I made more money than I thought, so I didn't pay enough estimated taxes. No. That, and I also just skipped the first 2 quarters of estimated taxes for just whatever reason. I don't know, I'm a dumbass. And so now I'm paying that now by September. So I'm like, once I pay all the tax money, and I know I got to pay estimated taxes and I got to pay my taxes that I owed from last year. Once I pay that, then I'll be able to like, okay, clean the slate. What do I actually have coming in on a more consistent basis that I could then afford to put into here, that I'm willing to put into here? So either way, should be a couple $100 a month is what I'm thinking at least, which is sick because I'm hoping that, you know, we make money. Like, you know, of course you're going to lose trades, right? Like today, going to lose trades, going to win trades, going to lose trades, going to win trades. But if we can keep up the stats, like this, if we keep the stats like this, I'm pumping, baby. Like, we're going to be looking good. So we do this. If we can keep, you know, anything even close to this would be sick. Even a 2 or 1.5 or 1.25 profit factor, I'm happy with. I don't care. As long as it's above 1, we're profitable. If we keep that going, sick. If we can roll with adding some money to the account, sick. We're going to get essentially for every dollar that I put in, I get $2 of buying power, which is sick for swing trades. You get technically more for intraday, but whatever. That's besides the point. And I'm not going to need to trade options. I kind of tested it today, but it was dumb. It was not dumb. It was fine. If the trade worked out, it would have worked out. So it's not bad, but like, it's kind of just like a weird headspace. And the setup wasn't perfect, so I probably shouldn't have taken it anyway. But all that lining up, give me like six to 8 months, and I think we'll be trading with some fucking firepower. I say firepower, but like some, you know, meaningful money, and hopefully it'll be sick. I'm pumped for it all. I think we've been on. I don't want to say we've been on a run, dude. We're not on a run because I don't do that. Like, I don't go on runs. I just been having like, so far in the year, we're profitable, you know, cool. Win rates just under 50%. It's right where I usually like to sit. You know, if I go back and I pull up the stats from, dude, what year is this? 2023, back in April is when I like dialed the strategy. It was like, this is the day, it was end of April, last week of April to now. That's when I was like, yep, we are going to trade breakouts up and down. That's it. Not fucking with anything else. Here's the stats and here's the charts. I might be in the way, so let me pop out of the way so you can see at least some of these charts. I mean, here's the charts, right? You know, we just kind of played the game. I was actually trading options back in here. And yeah, so if I again, like these numbers, like that's cool, whatever. I don't care. Like I really, this is because we were with prop firms, 200K prop firm accounts. That's why the sizing was huge here, but we'll get back up there. Don't get me wrong. We'll get back up there. We'll get back up there. And the thing is, it can be sick, dudes. When we get back up there, it's my money. Okay. It's not somebody else's money. It's my fucking money. Okay. But that's the thing. You know, I think that we got a solid system. That's all I care. That's all that matters. You know, solid system that's got fucking 800 trades on it. It's got pretty solid win rate. 45 is not bad. Average win loss of 1.5, dude. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. All right, so let's get into this month's stats and data. To be honest, it's not like there's that much here, but I'll go into the reports tab. We'll talk about TradeZilla as usual. They updated this recently. This is kind of new. Yeah, I'll pop out of the way so you can see this again. So here's like the summary tab. I like to go into the reports, the detailed stuff. I guess this is the performance tab. There's the overview tab, which is like the one we were looking at before. My eyes just got freaking blasted. You can see my average hold time for winners was 11 days because I had that trade on TQs that took like 14 days, 15 days. I don't know how long it took. It took a while. So that's the reason why that's that. If I dive into reports, what I want to do is I want to go into tags. This is where the money is made. And what? This is sick. These are new. This is new. Okay, cool. So I'm like looking at this for the first time. So for bear flags, we had those IWM trades. Bull flag setups, we had other trades that made money. Gives you your top 10 symbols. That's kind of cool. Gives you your average win, average loss. That's kind of sick, dude. It's kind of sick. Net P&Ls, all that good stuff. It'll take me a second to kind of get used to this view. You know what I'm saying? All right, custom tags. What about this? Time frames. Okay, time frames. So we played essentially 1 day time frame and the 1 hour. I called this 1 hour and 5 minute, the loss on IWM. It's the same trades, the same trade, or the two trades. I just tagged it both ways because I was kind of looking at the 1 hour time frame when I originally was looking at the idea. I was like 5 minute to 1 hour was kind of catching my attention. So that's where that came from. So I logged both of those on that trade, but otherwise nothing crazy on that. But yeah, best. I mean, obviously it's the daily time frame is the chart to play. That's where I played all the other trades on. I'm on a 4 hour time frame trade right now, so we'll see what happens in that one. But again, it's just another trade, so whatever. But I think as we grow, getting back to the whole account stuff and popping it back up here, it's like the vision is like as we grow this guy up, to 4 to 5 to 6K over time. No rush, but as we get it into that ballpark and we start looking at some trades now that we can be taking with closer to $10,000 of buying power, right? $10,000 of buying power for a 5% move. I mean, there's some moves on some other stocks. Like let me show you a quick stock on Caterpillar. Not that I took this entire move, but like these are the types of moves for swing trades that I'm looking to like play into. So Caterpillar had a huge move. I forget if I got in here, if I got in on this break. Either way, this on the second break right here just had a pop of, let me just pull up this line thing. This thing just kind of had a pop of 20%, dude. And this happened since in a month, less than a month, or about a month, 20% in a month, 20% in a month. Not saying that like that's the type of move I'm going to always get, but like when we're talking swing trades, 5% is not that much. So I'm usually looking for more than that, 5 to 10. And if I'm playing something that's maybe not SPY or Qs, which I don't trade those, to be honest, that much. I prefer stocks. Like Amazon's been a stock that on these breaks, like on this break, it's gone 7%. Meta just had earnings, so it's a different story, but like it's got some big moves. Apple hasn't had huge moves. Netflix is one that I traded a while back. I forget when it must have been this line right here for a 4-hour time frame, but I played Netflix, had a 8-9. It's like we're talking about 8-9% moves, which if you do the math on $10,000 of buying power, if you guys don't know how to do math, which I sometimes have to remind myself, like, oh yeah, that's how the math works. If you got 10K of buying power on a trade and you get a 7% move, you know what I mean? You're talking about $700, which is not, dude. I mean, to be honest with you, $700 back when I was in the prop firm stuff would be the sizing that I would be looking to make on probably a 50K account for one trade, just because of how I had to size based on my strategy, based on my stats and numbers. I never lost a prop firm account. I was very strategic, very, very calculated on those accounts for a reason. Right? I was like, I'm not losing the account. I'm trying to keep this account and actually make money from it. And that's the thing. Just so happens that the companies went under, et cetera, and stocks are not really legally allowed to be traded, whatever. It doesn't matter. I guess it does, but it's like, I was still getting the reps in the entire time. But the idea though is like, you can cash in on some, every percent is $100 when you're playing with 10K. So as I get the account there, which shouldn't be very long, I mean, all it really takes from here is like a $2,000 deposit, and we have $10,000 of swing trade buying power. And now you're talking about sizable moves. Let's say we look for a 10% move on a trade. Fuck yeah, dude, we're talking about $1,000. All mine, no 80% profit splits, no hit the funding thresholds, got to pass the challenge phase, all mine, which then funnels back. If you want to talk about scale, you want to talk about how you scale that, then you go from taking trades that are 10K buying power. Well, now you just unlocked $2,000 more buying power because your last trade. Now, of course, you can always lose, but if you, again, have that upward trajectory over time, you scale it up. You're talking about playing with, I think, pretty solid size. I'll be in a really nice, I think, headspace. It's money is fucked, dude. And I understand that. And I think it's worth talking about, to be honest, because it's just like, you don't hear a lot of people talk about this, to be honest with you, but it's fucked because like you kind of, you're never gonna be satisfied with it. But I do also say like, there is a level, like once you start playing with trades, like if you go to these stats, on TradeZella, and I go to my dash and I see these stats, right? And I say, okay, well, if I had these exact stats like every month going forward, but I just sized my accounts up or sized my trades up, it's sick. If you had a 3 profit factor, dude, it doesn't, like, you'll be trading with unlimited funds at some point. But what I'm getting at is this whole like money thing. It's like, it's never enough until it's too much. You know what I mean? Like, it's never enough, which should get you in a fucked headspace. You gotta be careful with that. So you gotta kind of tone it back. And that's where my mindset now is much more like, yo, we're gonna get there, relax, pay the taxes, we'll be fine, put some money in, we'll be okay, we'll be able to trade, give it a couple months. By the end of this year, we'll be playing with any literally unlimited size, not unlimited, but like a size that I'm comfortable with. And what I mean by that is, if you have, in this month, I had 4 trades and my expectancy is $60 a trade based on my stats. If that number goes to $300 expectancy, now when I take a trade, my strategy expects me to make $300 on this trade. It's pretty sick. And if I'm taking 2 or 3 trades a month, that's now adding, well, I was going to say rent. It's adding a car payment. It's paying for fucking insurance, chiropractor, I don't know, like shit that I like pay for every month that like I've been coming out of pocket. Like it starts to pay for those types of things. So that's the view. It's like it's never enough because like you always have expenses and you're like, fuck, I gotta cover these. And then once you get past that threshold, which is tough, it's like the psychological part is like getting the strategy dialed in, then being able to run that strategy for fucking 2.5 years as I've done and suck cock literally for 2.5 years and say, I'm not going to take it. I'm literally like going to make no money from this, but I have to do it because if I don't do it, I'm not going to like have the skill to then make money when I actually have money to trade with. So suck it for 2 years, 2.5 years, and then have to deal with that scaling up phase. I don't think I have a problem with that. I haven't had a problem with it on the prop firms. I know it wasn't my money, but at the same time, it wasn't a problem. And then you break through that kind of threshold to where now the trade size is like fucking big. and like you're taking trades that are like paying for like all of your expenses almost in one shot. You know what I mean? Like this trade makes me thousands of dollars at that point, and you're like, oh shit, like if I take a step back and think about it, you add up insurance, car payments, rents, food, all these things. I'm like, well, if I live lean, you know, like that's covered technically by one trade. Now, of course, you have losing trades. It's not that simple. Obviously, I'm not a dumbass. I've been doing this long enough. I know, but that's like the threshold. It's like once you break through that threshold, then the roof is, then you lift the roof off, and it's like you don't care about the money at all. Any like these things, you just take the money out. Oh yeah, I just gotta pay for this, fuck, whatever. Or you just let it compound because you're making money elsewhere. Versus my situation, I don't really have any need to pull the money out, to be honest, at all. Maybe to pay taxes, like that's literally it, to pay some taxes. But I have no other need to pull the money out. So the intention is for this to kind of just be the compound account. And if I can run that same kind of trajectory that I've had the past 2.5 years, if I can run that same P&L curve over the next 2.5 years from now, dude, I'm telling you, 2.5 years from now, come back to this video. I might never find this video. It'll be up. I might never be able to come back to this exact spot in this video because I wouldn't have titled this video anyway for me to know. But you can come back to this video and I guarantee you it'll be like, holy fuck, like, you know, it was clicking, like it was there, like, you know. So that's the deal. Hope that was helpful in some way, shape, or form. Much more of a psychology session for myself and for, you know, anyone who maybe takes value out of this. I don't know. I'll link TradeZella like always below. I'm going to keep using them. If you have any questions, comments, or even requests for TradeZella, things you hate, dude, hit me up. They are working on Webull automatic, like auto, instead of having to upload your trade logs, which is what I do now. They're working on that, I've been told. So, but I have like a connection there. So if you want me, like, not really a connection, but like I have a contact that I can talk to, or like an email, and send in my 2 cents. So if anyone has any 2 cents that they want me to send in to give as my 2 cents, I'll be happy to do it. Thanks so much, guys. See you in the next one. Hopefully we can, dude, actually, sorry. August, September, not good months historically. I've fucked in, like, I've not done well. Like, I just straight up, I think we can go back and you'll see, if you like go back through the recaps here on this channel and my other personal channel, dude, the past 2 Augusts, no go. Like, I'm not good. So knowing that going into August, I'm just chilling. See you guys in the next one. Peace.